Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this video. And today we have another ASEA story, really a powerful one with Dr. Stephen Middleton. He is in Lancaster, South Carolina, the northern part of South Carolina. He is a former college educator and author, and has a really powerful experience using these ASEA products. So we wanted to, talk to him and have him share his journey with this company with everybody. So Shawn is here with us, and I think Franchesca couldn't make it, but she might try to join us. And so I'll start off with asking Dr. Middleton just a little bit about your background as an educator. How did you fall into the educational arena and being an author in Black history?
Well, teaching came as a surprise to me. When I graduated high school, I was thinking about law school after college. So I went to college thinking that eventually I would go to law school. But then I met a historian, and believe it or not, he taught European history. And I found him fascinating. I found the subject matter fascinating. I switched my major to history because of this one professor.
Wow.
And after college, I got a fellowship, to go to graduate school to pursue history, and I've been doing it ever since. And my focus actually is U.S. constitutional and legal history.
Okay.
And in my writings, I emphasize the Black experience.
Okay. All right. Awesome. That's powerful. That's powerful. Where did you teach?
I taught at 4 universities during my 40-year career.
Okay.
I've hit old man status. I started my career when I was 23 years old. I just graduated from Ohio State with a master's, and landed a job at Wilberforce University in Ohio. And that was my first full-time teaching experience. From there, I went to the University of Cincinnati. And then from there, North Carolina State University in Raleigh, where I taught for about 20 years. And then in my mid-50s, I wanted to do some administrative work. Mississippi State University offered me something that interested me, and I worked there for 11 years. So I've been around the block for quite a few years.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. Let me ask you, and we'll get into your ASEA journey, but during those years as an educator, was health something important to you? Was that something that you tried to take care of?
Well, it makes sense, for us, at least for me, to try to do the best I could do for my body. So what I did, I tried to exercise. As a younger man, I was more physically able than I became as I grew older. So I had, gym memberships where I tried to work out as often as I could. So working out has been something that has been on my mind for a very long time, doing the best that I could do to take care of myself.
Okay, awesome. So so let's get into how you, here goes Franchesca. So let's get into your ASEA journey. So who introduced you to ASEA? Why did you decide to take a look at it? What was going on that, that piqued your interest?
Well, I'll first share what was going on with me. There were 2 things that were going on with me. The first thing was, I was in my early 60s when I found ASEA, and I had a physical challenge. In fact, I have a physical challenge. And someone knew that I had this neuromuscular problem. She didn't know that for well over a decade that I took, a lot of either over-the-counter drugs or prescription drugs to try to manage my body discomfort, which was my biggest symptom. There's another symptom that's more apparent. If you were to see me, you'll see that I move in space in a certain way. But body discomfort was one of those symptoms that people could not see. In the beginning, I used over-the-counter tablets, to manage them. And it got to a point where I went to my doctor and I said, look, I got this situation going on. Can you help me? So my doctor prescribed something for me. And to be candid with you, I didn't like the way I felt. I could have scared myself. This was a powerful narcotic that I was taking, and I just wasn't comfortable taking them. So I returned to my over-the-counter tablets, and I was up to 10 tablets a day trying to manage my body discomfort. And I can remember distinctly talking with a nurse who didn't know me. I was just at a hospital for another reason. And I was telling her about my situation, since she was a medical person. And she just said, that's a lot of drugs that you're consuming because, there's a chance that you can damage your stomach lining by taking those kinds of drugs. I told my doctor about it. He said, well, if you haven't damaged yourself yet, maybe you won't do it, and I had this choice, either I hurt or I take the drugs, and I opted to take the drugs. So that's one thing that was going on with me when someone brought a Redox to me. The second thing that was going on to me is that I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship, in business and entrepreneurship. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I just had the notion that I'll have this building with Middleton Enterprises written on it, that I would rent offices and I would have my business in it. It only made sense to think about that. And as I got older, I was conscious of the benefits of a home-based business. In fact, as I was anticipating retirement, I actually started a home-based business that I worked consistently. I was in the notary business. I was a licensed notary public in 2 states, actually, in Mississippi and also North Carolina. And my interest, was to do loan closings, mortgage loan closings. So I had lenders all over the country, that people who wanted to refinance their home or whatever, they needed a notary who was commissioned in that state to take care of it. So that's what I did. Now, the 2 things that I recognized, the money was not that, the big thing, of course. I live in the United States, I live in the West. I think it's a wonderful thing to make some money. That's just the way I've always looked at it. But I also wanted to reduce my taxes. So having a home-based business for me made sense. So if those 2 things were real for me, that's the one brought Redox to me.
Okay. So it was simultaneous. You were interested in the health benefits and the income opportunity together.
Yeah, as far as the health was concerned, I'm telling you, after I retired, I really wanted something. I was looking for something. Now, I've spent my entire career as an educator, that is, worked with students, trying to do something good, trying to do something meaningful with my life. And one of the things that I definitely wanted was something that made a difference, something that worked. The notary business was a good business. I made money from the notary business, but in my situation it was just difficult because of my health challenge, difficult walking upstairs into people's homes. I was a mobile notary. That just wasn't a good fit for me anymore. So I wanted something else. And the question that I had in the back of my mind, what was it out there that worked? There were a lot of things out there, but I wasn't confident that I would find something that actually worked. And it didn't have to be a consumable product. It could have been anything, but I wanted something that would offer people value. And that's where I was stymied. Can I find something that offered value? And when she told me about ASEA, that was the thing that was my big hang up. I didn't know, the first thing was I told her about my physical situation. And now notice, I've talked to a lot of doctors over the years because of my health situation. I've just a number of clinics. I'm not going to name the clinics. These were some of the top neurosciences clinics in our country. And my doctors, my neurologists had said, we can give you assistive devices. The first one was a walker, then the scooter. I got a big scooter in my office now that's probably cost maybe, how they do it, over $50,000. So they were giving these assistive devices, or they could write me a prescription, but there was nothing else that they had that could help me. And that's where I was when she met me. I wanted to do it, but I had a lot of doubts because I wasn't sure that this would help me. And I wasn't sure if I could actually make money doing it. Those were my reservations when she brought it to me. So what changed my mind? Well, the thing was, and I didn't know this lady, but didn't know her personally, had never met her or anything like that. But she talked with me on more than one occasion. In fact, she might have talked with me about on four different occasions. She sent me some information, but again, I had my doubts. I did Google ASEA, and I saw some things on the internet that were not flattering. That didn't bother me, to tell you the truth. And the reason why those comments didn't bother me, because I know that as a researcher, anyone can actually write something up and put it on Google. Mm-hmm. So that didn't bother me per se. The thing that really concerned me was whether it would work for me or not. So I decided that, something, I'm gonna give this thing a shot. I just decided I'm gonna give it a shot. It wasn't because of the information, it wasn't because of the literature, it was because of my situation, and I wanted to see if something would help me. So I signed up, but there's more to it, if you don't mind me sharing this with you. I just moved from Mississippi back to North Carolina. I was going to stay there temporarily. My daughter lives in North Carolina, and I had actually 2 mortgages at the time. And about 2 o'clock one morning, a.m., I woke up in a cold sweat. It's like, man, are you crazy? So, you got a mortgage, your house hasn't sold as quickly as you thought it would in Mississippi. You have a new house in North Carolina, now you're doing this thing, you're spending more money. I said, oh gosh, I can't do this. So I texted my sponsor early that morning, around 8 o'clock. I said, look, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this thing. I told her why. And she said, and I'll never forget what she said. She said, no worries, I'll call you in a few minutes. And she called me, and she talked with me. She talked about team. She talked about us doing this together. She talked about, she was in process of building and that I could be a part of this. And I actually settled down. I said, something, this lady is indicating to me that I would not be in this by myself, that I would have the support of a team. And it was that call and that conversation that reassured me, and I gave it a leap. Now, the second thing here is that I decided that I was going to get as much product as I could out of the gate. I'll tell you why. I wanted to make sure that I gave this product a fair trial. That is, I would take as much as I needed to take. I would take it over a period of time. If the product didn't work, it wouldn't be because I did not try. So that was my approach to this. I got a bunch of product. I started at 2 ounces. Went up to 4 ounces, went up to 8 ounces. And a few months later, I went to my first ASEA event. It was an event that they called Envision. I wanted to meet some of these people, because I'd only met people local, a couple of people locally, had never met the people. I didn't even know my sponsor face-to-face. I never faced to put to her. I wasn't around any of these people. I wanted to get a feel for them. You know how you try to feel people out? So I spent my own dime. Went to a meeting in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was among the people. Shook hands with the CEO, talked with some of the associates, listened to what was shared at the meeting. And I'm telling you, something happened here. I thought, something? The product is real, and I'll say more about why I thought that in a moment, but I thought that the company is real, that the leadership was real, and I thought that their mission was really my mission in life, and I thought this was something good for me. Now, by that time, I had had what we call a product experience. I remember I said I was taking 10 tablets a day to manage my body discomfort, and I don't recommend this to anyone. I did something that no one should do. And I want to say that again, no one should do what I did when I started this product. I quit my over-the-counter tablets. If they had been prescription tablets, I wouldn't have done this. But I quit my over-the-counter tablets cold turkey. I just stopped. And I knew that after a few days, that I would just have difficulty just moving, And in my case, fortunately, it'll be 4 years on November 13th. It's 2022. 4 years, this year, I have not taken one thing for body discomfort. Now, I didn't think this was a big deal. I think, until I was on a call with a medical doctor. He has a medical practice. I'm not going to use his name, but he has a pretty big medical practice in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And I was on a call with him with other people. And I sent him a private message. Look, I want to talk to you offline. He said, yeah, give me a call. So I called him up and I said, you know something? My condition makes it difficult for me to walk. And I've been taking this product for about 5 or 6 months at the time. And he said, well, what did it do for you? I said, well, I used to have a lot of pain, body pain. And he said, well, did the product help you with that? I said, well, my pain went away. And he said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean you used to hurt all over and you don't hurt anymore? I said, that's true. He said, that's a big deal. And so that kind of, so wait a minute, that is pretty good. That is a big deal, so yeah.
Awesome. That's that's really, really powerful. Let me ask you this. You were, because I know a lot of people, when they start to see they want to see it work. And, a lot of people think that way, like I said, when they come in, but understanding Redox now and working and not working. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. I think the relief that I got was only one thing that I noticed, because I was looking at that one thing. Now, I was experienced body pain, right? So if I wasn't experienced in that, I wouldn't have known to look for relief from that. But I'm telling you, what Redox offered me was a healthy feeling all over. I mean, I'll be 69 in January of 2023, 69 years old. I have a neuromuscular condition that does affect the way that I walk. And that's not the end of the story yet. We'll see what happens down the road. So I got all of this stuff going on, and man, I feel good. I cannot, at 68, almost 69 years of age, I cannot imagine feeling better than I feel in a body that has a neuromuscular issue. But not only that, over the past several years, I have challenged myself. And by that, I mean, I get on my stationary bike, from 3 to 6 times a week, depending on what I got going on. But frequently 6 days a week, I'm on my stationary bike early in the morning. And I ride from, 50 minutes to 60 minutes a session on this bike. And I can do that at my age and spend the rest of my day and not have all kind of stuff going on. I can drive long distances in my vehicle and not have, I know some folks who are younger, who complain about how their body feel after being cramped in a car for a long time. So Redox got me feeling good, got me looking good. So to answer your question then, I think this is important for anyone who tries this product, is to realize we're talking about cellular health. We're talking about creating a place in your body system so that your body performs at its optimum. This is what Redox is all about. So Redox is not a medicine. If people, there's some drugs that people take and they may get a pop in 24 hours or 48 hours because it's a narcotic or some type of synthetic drug or something that forces the body to behave in a certain way. If a person is in crisis, then you want one of those things to try to help stabilize you until you can become healthier. Redox is not a drug. It's not synthetic. It's not a narcotic. So Redox does something else. It signals the cells, which is what I've learned, and from my experience, this is true. So the cells perform their job of helping to create the healthiest person, that you can be at your stage of your life. Let's face it, and I've thought more about it since I've been on Redox, because I didn't think about the body and health in this way before Redox because I had no context for it. But now I understand that we live in a smart body. let's face it, we have smart bodies. So how do we know it's smart? Well, if you cut yourself, if the doctor will only do a couple of things. If you have a big gash in your hand, the doctor cleans up the wound, cleans it up. The doctor may cover it, may ask you in a few days to allow you to get air, but to make sure that you keep it clean. And in a week or so, the body will heal itself. I call that a smart body. If you give the body what it needs, the body can handle itself unless there's an acute condition. So Redox has educated me a great deal, and I'm excited about how to be healthy now. You go to the doctor expecting the doctor to help you be healthy. But if you really look at it, now, by the way, I want to make sure that I say this. I hope you don't edit me out. I'm well doctored. When you have a neuro condition like mine, you're well doctored. Obviously, I see doctors at least once a year because of my neuromuscular issues. So I'm well doctored, but my doctor doesn't keep me well. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
My doctor, if I get sick, my doctor tries to find a way to help me get well, but the doctor doesn't keep me well. Go to the doctor because they're sick. Wellness is my job. The doctor, in my case, is my partner because my blood work tells me a lot about my body system, and then I can make decisions based upon the feedback that the doctor gets from looking at my blood, and the doctor interprets it for me. So that's the way I approach health now. I try to recognize that first, I have the power. I learned this from a lifestyle medicine doctor. I have the power to take care of my health. I have the power to decide that, I'm going to take a ASEA Redox. So I take a ASEA Redox every day and have been for 4 years because I have that power to make that decision. The second thing that I've learned about health is competence. I have the opportunity to learn. So I didn't know about Redox. I just didn't know. I was innocent. Now I know about this product called ASEA Redox supplement, then I can do something about that. And the third part of my health regimen is to realize that a human being, in addition to food, water, a human being also benefits from relationships. So this is really a holistic way of living. And this is another thing I like about ASEA. I'm not drinking it alone. I'm not drinking it in isolation. The people that I can talk to, I can hear about their stories. This bolsters my confidence. And, it's a way of life for me. And that's combined with other things that I've learned about how to keep the body healthy, how to be healthy, how to be, at my age and not take medication. And if something happens, of course, go to the doctor to get help for that acute condition.
Now, Dr. Middleton, it's really profound to hear your story and your journey. I would just like to go back just a step and ask, when you did the kind of profound step, took the profound step of getting off all of your pain relievers right up front, something that you've very clearly said you don't recommend someone doing, but I would imagine it would have been of acute awareness for you as to how long it was going to take to begin to get some relief. So
Right.
Can you backtrack, if you can remember, how long it took and how much you were taking at the time?
Yeah, I followed the recommendation, 4 ounces a day. That's where I started. But I think I must have talked with someone before because it wasn't long, maybe a week, that I worked up to 8 ounces a day. And I stayed on the 8 ounces from December until, let's say, January. And there was a chiropractic doctor, someone who was on the board, the medical board at ASEA, because I pulled him aside. I said, look, I got this situation. I'm trying to walk again. He said, well, I can't give you medical advice, but how much are you taking? I told him, he said, bump it up to 16 ounces. And that was confirmed to me when I spoke with a veterinary doctor, a researcher, about 6 months later, because I said, you know something, I'm trying to see if I can cause my body to do something differently. I may take 32 ounces a day. But this is what he said to me. He said, I don't know anyone who needs to take 32 ounces a day. But if you're at 16 ounces a day, you're at a good point. Now, most people may not need 16 ounces a day, Shawn, but remember, I'm trying to bend genetics. I'm trying to change something in my body that's, that's not, most people would say will not change. I was told by a doctor, this is not going to change, but who knows? We shall see. Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. That's important information to share, to put some sort of context, because we do start people at the 2 ounces twice a day. And that's kind of your maintenance level if you're a healthy person. But most of our bodies need way more than that, even if they're not dealing with something as extenuating as your circumstance.
Yeah, that's for sure. I would think, though, that if a person is over 40 or certainly over 50, they may want to consider a 90-day trial at 8 ounces a day. Give themselves an opportunity, give the body an opportunity to come back into homeostasis. So if you do this, for 30 days, you don't know. Maybe you'll get a benefit, maybe not, but you really don't know until you've given it a full 90 days. So I was in it. I got, as I said, in the beginning, I got a bunch of products because I want to make sure that I give it time, then that I take enough, and to see what happens. If I gave it 90 days and it didn't work for me, then I can't even say that means that it's not going to work for you. It just means that you may have a lot of stuff going on that you don't know about, and it may take a longer period of time. But isn't that what our medical doctors would say? We're going to try this medicine for 90 days or even 6 months, and we'll evaluate along the way. I don't think we walk in and say, one visit, here's a pill, you're fixed, bye. So.
It's true. We often set a very different standard for supplements than we do for the medical community. We kind of want a faster turnaround in this arena than we're able to or think about doing in a medical environment. So I think your comments are so well positioned, because most people do come to this with many times. They'll come to it as a wellness prevention kind of thing, but they'll also come to it from the standpoint of there's something very acute that they want help with right now. And usually their bodies didn't get to that in an overnight manner. It's taken time for their bodies to get to the place where they're feeling an acute need. So I think your story is particularly well positioned for people who are looking for something, have had a lot of different exposures to different things, and then they're ready to try this, but you want to set the proper expectations. So your comments are really so well placed in terms of the expectation part. What I'm curious, now that you've been in it for 4 years, the business end of it, as well as taking it personally for your own health, where are your next steps lie in terms of sharing it with people and in terms of the horizon for what we have?
Yeah, well, the first thing that I've come to see clearer now, and once again, I didn't have a clue to this going in when I first started, is that ARS, a acid redox supplement, is the ultimate lifestyle product a person can put into their bodies. By that I mean is that this is not something that you do once or twice or for a month or 2 months or even 6 months and say, I've done it, now I do not have to do it any longer. This is a lifestyle change. So I've been doing acid redox for 4 years because it's a part of my lifestyle. It's what I do, and I do it because of the benefits that I get. What I have also learned about lifestyle is that, redox works with the materials that I consume. So I can consume some bad material for my body, and redox, the laborer, may work through it. It may take a little longer to work through the stuff that I do to my body, or the insults that I, give my body. So I've learned then that proper nutrition is helpful. The more good material you put in your body system, redox, in my experience, will work even faster and do even more for a person. Now, the big picture, I love ASEA Redox as a supplement. I really do, because I like what it produces in my body. I also have confidence in ASEA Redox as a supplement, so I can share it with someone with a great deal of confidence. In fact, as a retired educator, I've had someone say to me, you went from teaching to sales. So I'm still in the business of education, and that is to educate people about the benefits of redox and about health broadly, and not just about treating diseases. ASEA as a business opportunity, is that a part of your question as well?
Yes, exactly. The horizon for the business part of it, as well as the health feature of it, in terms of how you're seeing your lifestyle change. So you spoke to that lifestyle piece, and then how do you see ASEA moving forward, in the broader society and even the Black community, actually.
Yeah. As I said, I've been to a few conventions. I've shook hands. I don't know them personally, but I've met the CEO. I've met the chairman. I tell you, this is a great company. I mean, I am so happy to be associated with it. So when I talk to people about ASEA, it's not like I got to hide, my face or run away. I just have a good feeling about this company and what this company stands for and where it wants to go. This is a great business opportunity here. I mean, anyone could, and people who say no just don't know. And, that's innocent. If you're innocent, you don't know, you just don't know. But a person can actually be in a position to become like Amazon overnight. Now, let's look at Amazon. Amazon is a conduit. Amazon, I don't think they manufacture anything. I can't say that. They may manufacture something, but it's a conduit. ASEA has allowed me to become a conduit. That is to allow its products to flow to somebody else, and I benefit without having to manufacture, do all of the other kind of regulatory stuff that companies have to do. I don't have to do any of that. But ASEA has taken it one step farther, and this is great for me because I don't have to handle any products beyond the products that I consume. Can you imagine that? I get an opportunity to share products wherever ASEA does business. And I think that's 33 or 34 countries, something like that, in various parts of the world. And I don't have to pick anything up. I don't have to take anything to the post office or UPS. I don't have to ship anything. But if I make the connection, ASEA pays me. I've been at this now for 4 years. I started getting payments during my first year, and they have not missed a payment yet. If anyone gets a whim of that, I don't see why anyone would say no. Now, you mentioned a certain demographics, and I'll be honest with you here. One of the easiest way for anyone to get into business is via a network marketing company. The overhead is low. And as I've said, you don't have responsibility for all of the certifications and testings that a manufacturer does. So virtually anyone can do this. But this is more relevant, I think, to the demographic that you mentioned. And that is, if you visit, and I'm sure you have, the Center for Disease Control, they'll say that there's some communities where chronic conditions are just extremely high. There's a disproportionate number of individuals who suffer certain chronic conditions than other groups. Shawn, I've come to discover that it doesn't have to be that way. That if someone takes, I like to refer to it as the 90-day challenge, they can see for themselves that this, product along with some sensible nutrition, can help them in ways that are just, my mind is blown, actually. This is just, it just makes sense to me. And I'm in for the long haul. This company has been around for about 13 years or so. These leaders are up to something pretty big. So I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm going to ride their coattail for as long as I can.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Middleton, for joining us. Oh yeah, one last question we wanted to ask. And thanks for joining, Franchesca. Franchesca, did you want to ask anything?
I didn't want to ask anything. I just thought it was really profound about the relationship piece that he mentioned with network marketing. That was something that I hadn't really thought about before, but the way that you put it, Dr. Middleton, in regards to the human factor, like people need relationship, and the company that we're with helps to promote that and helps to feed that. Just as independent associates, you know that you're not by yourself, but then also you know that you're not taking the product by yourself. So it's not just the business aspect, but the human aspect of relationship. That is, I hadn't heard of it that way. And so thank you so much for just bringing that to light. I just wanted to thank you for that.
Awesome. So Dr. Middleton, in your sharing of ASEA with, I don't know, friends, families, strangers, what story or what individual story or testimonial stands out the most that you would like to share with us?
Which one stands out the most? Oh my gosh, there are so many.
That you personally, that you personally shared with someone.
That I've personally shared. Okay, so one of my nieces, she is in her late 40s. She was going through the change, hot flashes, and she used Redox, and she reported that her hot flashes went away. Wow. So that's a story. I mean, if women, understand that, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
One of my nephews had problems with his knee. He's a big man. He is a truck driver. He could no longer sit in his truck because his knee, the ligaments were hurting him. He talked to a surgeon about that. The surgeon said, I can repair it, but even if I repair this ligament, you'll probably be in pain. He did Redox, and I mean, he was at a point where he couldn't even bend his knee, and he, got into a situation where he could go back into his truck. So that's a story that I have shared as well. And of course, I've told about my story, one that I share as often as I can.
Yeah, that's powerful. It's really touching and shows the mission of this company. When we can share this with family members and people that we really care about. So, well, I appreciate you taking the time and sharing your story and your experience about ASEA Redox, the company, and network marketing. If Shawn or Franchesca don't have any questions, I guess we can sign off.
Well,
good. Thank you so much, Dr. Middleton. Such a pleasure.
Indeed. I just want to commend you all. I'd like to refer to you all as the brain trust of the Redox movement. I think you've undertaken a noble mission, and I'm confident that you're making a huge difference in the world. Just keep doing what you're doing. People, more and more people are going to hear the message that you're putting out there.
Awesome. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.